Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Perry and this is Tesla DIY. I document the build of my Tesla Model Y and my Tesla Model 3 behind, showing you all the DIY installation and whatnot. We're here today for a quick video, and sorry in advance that if I make a lot of cuts in between my videos because I stutter a lot. That's because English is not my first language, it's not even my second language. So because apparently making a comment like this is easier than to make a video and also to install, let's say, a tail light like we're doing in today's video. See, I just made another cut. Anyway, so let's take a look at these tail lights. And if you have been around Instagram and Facebook, you might have seen these tail lights. I had already unboxed the majority of it, leaving just the tail light itself. This is from a company called AlphaRex. They apparently make a lot of taillights for different cars and trucks, so do check them out if you have other cars. And looks like the installation is going to be really simple. As you can see, there's only one connection on the inner taillight, and then on the inner taillights there's also only one connector. At least for the Model Y, I have the early Model Y. I know there's different variation of Model Y with red turn signal and amber turn signal. I do have the amber turn signal, so these are specific for my car. And I have seen installation video on Model 3s, and I believe that's the only thing out there on YouTube on the Model 3, and I believe there are a lot of wiring involved. If you have seen my other taillight install video, I have done another LED taillight install in the past. There were a lot of wiring involved that you have to run through the trunk and to the back of the trunk and all that. So seeing this is really cool. All I have to do is probably just plug and play, hopefully. So this is gonna be probably not much of an installation video, but I'm gonna show you anyways. If you have seen my other video, you know that this is gonna be so much easier. Before we install, let's just take a close-up at the OEM taillights during the day. And I have already shot some videos of the OEM taillights during the night, so at the end of the video I'll give you guys a side-by-side comparison. So this is with the taillights completely off, and then this is with the parking lights on. This is with the brake light pressed, brake light off, and then left turn signal. Alright, and reverse with the brake on. So this is how the OEM lights look in the daylight. So let's get started with the install. So first thing first, obviously open up the trunk. I think I'm gonna go ahead and work on this one first, and then I'll access the back of the tailgate to get the inner tail lights off. And don't worry about the noodles in the background. So just that, so it's just a push pin, I guess. I should have just pried it straight up, but that's out of the way. And then now we want to pop the back panel, and I believe there's a couple 8mm bolts, so let's do that. So you can see there's that one right there. There's the second one there. There's number 1, and then there's number 2. So just get a 8mm socket back there and get that removed, and we should be good. Okay, so I found out that getting a ratchet in there with a socket, I don't have much room. So what I end up doing is getting an open-ended wrench, or I can use the closed end. There's a lot more space to work with this way. So all I have to do is really to get it loose, and then I could probably use my hand to thread it loose, like so. Just to make sure you don't drop it. Here you go. Alright, so here is the 8mm nut that is holding the back of the tail lights. So we got one, and we have one more to go. And the other one is right there. Right there. So, and just use my hand. And there you go. Number 2 is out. Alright, so now we have these two nuts removed. So all we have is these guys that's holding the tail light. So you want to be very careful. I've done this before for the Model 3. So you just want to, oh, there you go. That was easier than I thought. Okay, so just pull it out because the socket behind is still attached. So you want to just detach it. Just like that. You might have to pull this back if it's locked up, but in my case, I just pull it straight out. So you can see this is the same socket. That's gonna go on the new tail light. Same socket. Okay, so here's the side-by-side of the old one, OEM, and then the new one, the AlphaRex. And here's the front of it, side by side. As you can see, I opt for the red housing. They have a black housing. They all have a clear lens, but the inside, it's either black housing, which looks pretty cool. The black one has white light, but then they do light up in red, but they just look white during when it's not on. I thought the red one looks closer to an OEM look, so that's what I went for. So now all I have to do, take this plug. It is a 4-pin, and it matches with this 4-wire connection. And I just plug this in. Gotta figure out the direction. So it's gonna go like this. Plug it in. This thing's locked. And put this right back in there. Now I remember why I felt like I removed the tail light on the Model Y before, because when I ran the wire to the fishbone bumper reflector light, I had removed these before, so that's why it felt so familiar. Anyways, so I'm just gonna pop these back in. Okay, and then I'm just gonna see if they work. Alright, so all we have to do is put the 8mm nut back in and put the top cap back on, and then we can move on to the tailgate inner tail lights. Alright, so now that we got that done, we're gonna move on to the back of the tailgate. So we're gonna pop this guy open and get to the back of that inner tail light. I haven't done that before, so we're just gonna learn as we go. Alright, the tool I'm gonna choose to use is this little pry tool, plastic prying tool. So I'm just gonna wedge it in here and then pry it down. There you go. It's just clip on, so you just want to unclip all the way around. There you go. Get that guy out too, otherwise it's gonna be in the way. There you go. So as you can see, this is all the clips that's holding on the back of the trunk. So all you have to do is pry them carefully and get all these unclipped, and then we can now access the back of the taillights on both sides. So let's do that. So to locate the bolts, you're gonna look right into here. As you can see, there's that one right there, and I think that's it. That's just one bolt and then a clip on the back side, and then unplug that. So this time I'm gonna use a socket with a ratchet because I have more access. Again, it's 8mm, so you just want to loosen it up and you should be able to thread it out with your bare hands. And there you go. It's out. And if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to get this out. Yep, it's loose. So want to pull down on this red tab. I don't know if you can see. Move you closer. So the nut is removed. Now we want to pull down on this. That way we can unplug from the back of the tail lights. Alright, so now as you can see, the tail light is loosened up. So we want to come around on this side and carefully pry this out. Remember, on this side there is a little push clip, so that's holding the back. So that's still holding the tail lights in. So we want to do this. Set you guys on the tripod. I'm gonna come back with this tool and just wedge it in here carefully and turn and pry. There you go, got it out. Alright, so it's time for another comparison. You can see side by side, this is the OEM and this is the AlphaRex red housing to match, and then on the back side they have the same connector and just the same 8mm bolt and then the push clips. So there you go. So let's pop this guy in and then we could test to see if they light up correctly. So just thread this guy right into this socket, line up the bolt and the push clips and give it a good push. There you go. So now I just have to plug in the connection and put the 8mm nut back on. And this is the OEM connection, so you just want to plug it in like that. Or maybe like that. Yep. And then lock it. Just like that. So let me see if I can close this and then get a side-by-side aftermarket versus OEM. Alright, so this is still plenty of daylight and we have side-by-side comparison. Left side we have the AlphaRex taillights and then on the right side we have the OEM taillights. So let me go turn them on. Alright, so this is completely off with both, and then this is with the parking lights on. This is left turn signal. This is right turn signal. And then hazard light with both flashing. Now I'm going to push on the brake. This is with the brake lights on, brake lights off, brake lights on again, and I'm going to put it into reverse. This is reverse with the brake on, reverse with the brake off. Okay, so with the driver side done, I'm gonna move on to the passenger side. But because of the passenger side is more or less gonna be the same, I'm just gonna quickly install them and get right into the final reveal of the lights on at night, and I'm gonna do some B-roll and show you guys the final products. Okay, so with that being said, before I show you the result, and if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link in the description as always. And if you want a little bit extra to differentiate it being a OEM taillight, you could always go for the black housing, which I didn't get. I wanted a more OEM look, but these are definitely a really good upgrade, high quality light. And also to add to that is that everything works as it should. If you know what I'm talking about with the other aftermarket taillights, especially for the Model 3, there's a lot of hiccups. There's like the turn signals has to be red, Otherwise, when you step on the brake, the turn signal lights up as red too. It's just all sorts of malfunctioning. With these, they're perfect. They work as it should, just like OEM would. So if you like them, go ahead and check them out. But yeah, so this is gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and if you like what I'm doing. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.